when you start your major scale, of course, there's kind of the classic derivation of the 2-octave diatonic major scale from Segovia's method, where you start with 2 notes on the A string and then go to 3. And Bill Levitt, who kind of invented the Berkeley guitar program, he talked about the extended major scale forms where you play 3 notes. And that, to me, like, thinking about triplets like that and trying to get that really steady, I agree. I think that's more applicable when you're playing stuff like straight ahead jazz or anything with a shuffle beat, or if you're even blues or hammer on pull off type of soloing. I think when we think about 3 notes to a string, that can really help that articulation, practicing that.
I fully agree. And there's different ways you can do that, whether you're using the pinky or not, right? Because what you were just demonstrating, you were using your pinky. And John was stretching his hands out, right? Because this is another important aspect of this. So, like, if you're playing just the notes C, D, E, right, starting on the 3rd fret on the A string, there's a few different ways you can approach doing that, right? Like the first finger on C at the 3rd fret, the second finger on D at the 5th fret, and the pinky stretches to E on the 7th fret, right? Versus playing the second finger on C, the pinky on D, and then switching strings to play E, right? So if you're getting 3 fingers on a string equaling 3 notes, then I completely agree, John. You can get that triplet feel a lot more happening, especially if you've got some sort of legato technique happening where you're hammering on and pulling off on the strings. If you're picking every single note, it's not quite as necessary, I feel like. Yeah. Because you're still articulating no matter where you're using your fingers. But like, yeah, it really helps me. So you can see all I'm pretty much using there is first finger, second finger, and pinky to get around the neck. And keeping that sort of solid form as you transition from position to position around the guitar really can help your phrasing. So yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, and the ability to kind of stretch your fingers and use either first, second, and third, or first, third, and fourth, or first, second, and pinky, right? That would be the other option. So
yeah, and also with the right hand too, then if we stop and we let go of the pick for a minute, we can think of our thumb and first finger, which is kind of anti-classical guitar in a way, right? Because with classical guitar we learn M-I-M-I-M.
Right.
Where we can play like that. Or we can go, I like thumb first, which is kind of like how Lenny Breau played, and there are a lot of great jazz guitarists who've used fingers, Joe Pass, and then we can think of thumb first, middle. And when we get that fingering down the PMI or PIM in the right hand, you'll notice that can help you with getting, different sound out of the guitar, for one, for sure. But I find that feeling, that sensation in the right hand of moving your fingers like that, to me, has always been more natural to feel in a subdivision than like with pick, where it's really in the wrist or your fingers. So I'm always kind of going back and forth between those. I encourage the listeners who haven't ever really done that, spend a little time this week practicing with your thumb, your index, and your middle finger with a triplet subdivision on the guitar, and see how that feels. Because you might be surprised, it comes pretty easily sometimes when you're a jazz guitar player.